Okay, you're on Friday Night Live. Come in, hit that like, hit the share button, and I'm about to watch this powerful video. I know it's powerful because I'm 5 minutes into it, and I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to watch the video, I might as well share it with my audience. If you look on my whiteboard in the backdrop, you can see some notes from a previous live stream I did probably some years ago about how your money should be broken down, right? 40% for the IRS, right? That's a big chunk of your earned income. That's a big percentage of your earned income. 40% out of every dollar you make. That means 60 cents or 60% is coming back to you, right? And then 40% for yourself, 60%, 40% to live off of, and 20% for yourself, 20% for yourself. And this is the most, in my opinion, undereducated component that many learn about. And so I'm just going to share my screen and let the presenter, the more expert, teach on this subject. And we're going to watch and learn about it together. But what about if you can significantly, right, decrease the 40% of your every dollar that you earn, every dollar that you earn, if you could significantly decrease that instead of giving it to the IRS. Now, I could go on what many people call conspiracy theory stuff. It's really not conspiracy theory. It's just not well-known education that's talked about. But I could go into the rant of who the IRS really is. And my God, if you don't know who the IRS really is, if you think it's government and IRS are the same and simultaneously, they're not. In fact, when Trump was president, he talked about he made it more known, right, that the IRS and government were not the same. But if you really knew who the IRS was composed of, the wealthy families that the IRS are composed from, and that the fact that you are working hard to make other families wealthy while your family struggles financially in most cases, that you have 60% from every dollar that you earn coming back to your household, and that's before your paycheck. See, right now we are in tax season, so this is why I decided to do this live stream. We're in tax season, and people right now are getting W-2 income tax returns back. So you're taxed up front on the money that you're making up front, right? That money is taxed up front, your gross, and then is now your net pay, not your gross pay. And a lot of people gross already look gross, right? And so then you get to file taxes. Just think about it. I want you to think about it. You're filing taxes on the money that you already been taxed on, right? And so I made this post on my Facebook page, and the post said that if a tax refund is not a bonus, many people think it is. That was your money all along that you could have used to invest and leveled up for the year. That's your money. It's this commercial that often advertised that states, "It's my money and I want it now," and that's in reference to lawsuit money. People that have filed a lawsuit and they want their payout all up front. Well, you can take this same mindset when it comes to taxes. I want to read this one comment, and then we're going to get again into me sharing the video. Hello, Miss Howard. Thank you for saying hello. I pray that all is well with you. and that you're having a great, great night tonight. And if not, that it will get better tomorrow, right? Um, One comment on my Facebook says, but it's not fun. You gotta pay and you have no funds. No, it's not fun to owe the IRS. It is not fun at all. Been there, done that. Won't do it again. This is the exact reason a lot of famous or so-called famous people get in trouble with the IRS. All gurus' advice is not good advice. So my reply to his statement was, it's not guru, quote unquote, advice. It's common knowledge. It really is. Common knowledge knows having a home based business adds 470 tax advantages. And I use the word strategically, advantages, because these are things that 99.99% of Americans are using on a daily basis anyway. But because they do not have a home based business, they're not able to write this off, such as your cell phone, right? Such as mileage on your vehicles, gas, right? Square footage of wherever you live, whether it's a home, apartment, condo, townhouse, right? Whether you're renting or you're buying, some portion of your utilities. These are all the things that you lose, all the money that you lose out on if you don't have a home based business. And so, to continue, 470 plus advantages and things you would have paid for. And I think I put anyone, should have said anyway. So let me go ahead and make that edit. These are things you would have paid for a cell phone bill anyway, right? You would have paid if you have a child, you would have paid for their recreational activities anyway. You would have paid to travel, in most cases anyway, with friends and family or loved ones. You would have paid for a vacation anyway, right? You would have paid for the medical expensive and prescription medicine anyway. You would have paid for your utilities anyway. And again, if you have a roof over your head, you would have been living within a certain square footage to pay rent or pay towards a mortgage anyway. So it makes sense with a dollar sign to have a home based business and to educate yourself in this area and tax advantage of earning and keeping more of your money, right? Tax advantages. Let me put an X. But I would say take advantage. Let me make sure I take advantages of tax, right? Advantages of earning and keeping more of your money. People, to me, that is the real flex. The real flex is having high income, and paying less taxes at the same time. Someone told me that, hello, Dr. Form. I'm glad I'm able to see you. Thank you for tuning in and saying hello. Someone told me with Queen, child tax credit. Um, Let me read. Let me read it. They left what was the comment? Oh, the people that qualify for earned income credit and child tax credit actually get a nice bonus, right? How many people have that mindset that, hey, if I qualify for earned income credit, EIC must mean that your income amount must be low enough. Come on, people, low enough keep you under in the box, right? Keep you at a certain income bracket. And most people think that this is a bonus. And child tax credit. You know, I seen an income tax return today that had that showed income of $20,000 for the year. The AGI was $20,000, and the income tax was a little over 10,000. And I'm like, I know that this person must have children. How are they living the 11 other months of the year, right? From $20,000 AGI. And if that's the bonus of getting $10,000 back, I don't think that's a bonus. I don't think that's a benefit. I think that's living below your income status. Yes, 470 tax write-off. So in my private cryptocurrency that we earn digital money, we share this powerful information. You can go to My Millie Moves to get more information. I'll show you what that website looks like. And this man is very powerful. Heard a lot of things that I haven't heard before about having a home-based business, and especially if you're in cryptocurrency and you are going to convert your cryptocurrency back into cash. That's a taxable transaction. So you definitely need to know how to play the game. You can go here, millimoves.com. Also, if you need help with your credit, this is here as well. If you want to cash flow in crypto, the information is here. And increasing your income while decreasing your taxes. I have the video here, and also stacking silver. So at this time, I'm going to pass the microphone to the expert about why it is more beneficial for you to have a 1099 business than to be a 1099 independent contractor or employer. And it's more beneficial for you to have 1099 business than for you to be an employee with a W-4. So if you are an employee with a W-4 or you're in a 1099 independent contractor, add this to your portfolio, add this to your strategy so that 40% that you're shifting to the IRS can now be shifted back to you, and you can have more investing income. See, people, we have to get to the point where we are living off of our investments, our passive and residual income, and not your earned income where you are trading a whole lot of your time for a little bit of money. You have to position yourself where your money is working passively through a software, through a digital system, that you don't have to do all the heavy lifting. You don't have to recruit people when you're sick. You don't have to do three-way calls. See, that's residual income activity. You don't have to post on Facebook if you don't feel like it about, hey, I'm having a private Zoom, right? Learn how to graduate from earned income, then to residual income, and then to passive income. And then the last component, you want to have royalty income, which I teach how to get royalty income and passive income through cryptocurrency at the same time. So let's tune in. Let's watch the video. I'm excited to bring this expert to you. You're definitely going to enjoy and be educated. Schools don't teach you this. And as he breaks down, schools are not designed to teach you this. That's not the agenda. That's not the goal. That's not the curricula. That's not the objective of a school system, to teach you the true financial system to set you free. And that's not even the agenda of religion either. Right? So let's listen in.
Okay, I think I got screen sharing.
Okay.
Here. Okay, so you guys can see that, right?
Yep, we can see a screen. Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, so let me go ahead. I'll do a quick intro on myself. So my name is Mark Pyers. I live here in California all of my life. And you know, it's crazy. So all of you that are here today, I want you to do me a favor, relax. Definitely grab a pen and a paper, because I'm going to say some things today that the school system has been forbidden to teach the masses. And when I'm talking about the masses, I'm not talking about just the poor and middle class. I'm talking about the haves and the have-nots. Okay, but I want to give this disclaimer. Okay. I'm going to share some information that may or may not apply to you specifically. However, everything that I say today is a quote directly from the IRS. I'm one of the only people that I've learned about or heard about or I've even seen, and I've studied a lot of CPAs, tax preparers, tax professionals that teach this information directly from the IRS. So in 1992, I was a self-employed plumber. I think I must have been sleeping in class because I didn't even know that the IRS existed. Okay. I look, all I knew was I went to work, right? I worked for myself. I actually started working with my brother doing plumbing. I went and serviced my customers. They gave me cash or a check. I put it in my bank account. I paid my bills. Okay. And long story short, my van was stolen from me with all of my equipment in it. So a friend of mine told me, why don't you come and work with this company that I'm working for, which was a contract inside of the oil refinery. And you can make enough money to get your tools in your van and get yourself back, up and running. So I did that. Well, I learned at the end of the year, after making about $34,000, he asked me, he says, who do you get to prepare your taxes? I said, what do you mean prepare my taxes? He said, yeah, you got to file your taxes on the income that you earned. And so he shared this information with me about this guy who was going to give me the hookup. He said, this guy will hook you up, all right? Now, remember, I'm green as a pool table, okay? I didn't know anything about federal taxes, state taxes, IRS, any of those things, right? And so this guy comes to my house, he prepares my taxes, he sits down with his calculator, and not knowing at the time, the way that this guy charged was based on the amount of refund that he got you, right? And so, today I understand that was self-serving, okay? I mean, imagine me saying to you, how much you going to charge me to prepare your taxes, Mark? And I say, well, I'm going to charge you 10% of the amount of refund I get you, okay? We're going to talk about refund in a little bit, right? And so, of course, this guy got me a significant amount of refund. Well, 3 years later, I got a letter from my friends over at the IRS saying, hey, we want to have a conversation with you about your moving expense for $14,600. Now, I don't know if you caught what I said. I earned $34,000. However, this guy took a $14,600 tax deduction that I had absolutely no idea what it was. Okay. So I grew up in I grew up in the hood, right? And, you learn some things when you grow up in the hood because you got to fend for yourself. So I did learn that I couldn't trust attorneys. I couldn't afford an attorney, and that the IRS wasn't going away. Okay. I knew that for a fact, right? I've received 3 letters within that 30-day period saying, hey, we need to have a conversation with you. So guys, watch this. And many of you that follow me, you hear me say this all the time. Documentation, write this down. Documentation beats conversation. This is, if you don't take anything else away, documentation beats conversation. Okay. So back in 1994, many of us didn't have a computer, right? I didn't know how to operate a computer, but a guy gave me 13 floppy disks of TurboTax, and it changed my life. I ended up representing myself downtown Los Angeles at the IRS building. Guys, let me tell you something. You got to hear that story, okay? Because when that guy told me, the IRS auditor told me that I was getting an additional refund, okay? An additional refund of $571 on documentation that I put together, and I'm going to cut that, story really short there. I said, whoa. What's going on here? How's a kid that didn't even know the IRS existed? Okay, the boogeyman. Okay, somehow in my subconscious mind, I was afraid of the IRS. I still to this day, I don't know why. Okay, and many of you probably have that same fear, right? You're afraid of the IRS because in your subconscious mind, somebody made you fearful of the very thing that I'm going to share with you today that'll help you keep as much of your hard-earned income as possible, okay? So I represented myself. I ended up with an additional refund from the IRS, but on my journey to building that information to take to them, I discovered what I'm going to share with you today, and that is, in the United States of America, we have one tax system. However, there are 2 sides. And ironically, neither side is taught, and it's not taught for a reason. Because if you had been taught this information in school, if your teacher sat you down and said, hey, you're going to take tax class 101, and then you're going to take tax class 102. Tax class 101 is going to teach you how you're taxed on your income as an employee. And then they're going to talk about some of the tax deductions, if you would. And then over here on this side, when you take tax class 102, we're going to share with you the entrepreneur and the business side of the tax code, okay? And when you took these two classes, here's what you learn. That 100% of the activity that you put in to go to your job, get in your car, put the gas in your car, buy the clothes, pay for your lunches, right? 100% of that activity, you get no tax incentive or advantages at all. In fact, you have to pay income taxes on the gas that you put in your car. You have to pay the taxes on the maintenance that you do to your car. You have to pay the taxes on the car note that you pay for the car. Okay, you have to pay the taxes on the lunches that you're paying for because you're not at home. You have to pay taxes on everything on the employee side, and you get zero tax deduction for doing that. However, if you drove your vehicle, if you purchased a lunch, in fact, if you invited a friend and had a simple conversation about making money, okay, you'd get 100%. That expense would be 100% tax deductible on the business side. If you decide to take a vacation, there's a way for you to turn that vacation into 100% tax deduction. However, over here on the employee side, you got to pay for the vacation with after-tax dollars, okay? Which one would you have picked? And so if they had taught this information in school, there wouldn't be many W-2 wage earner employees, okay? And I'm not knocking a job. What I'm saying to you is what you're going to discover today is what we have subconsciously been taught. And that is that myth, that American dream. I was talking to my son about this last night. I said, I don't know who told me that lie. Okay. My parents didn't tell me, Mark, go to school, get a good education so you can get a good job to get the house with the white picket fence, and you're going to sell your way into the golden years of your life in retirement. My parents didn't tell me that lie. Okay. Somewhere in my life, somewhere in your life, someone sold you that dream because we allow someone to instill that into our brain, or this amazing computer. And in our subconscious mind, it kept it there. And so we think that that is the American dream. And I assure you that that is the American nightmare if you're following that system from a financial standpoint. So, Ricardo, I know that's a long introduction and a lot of, foundation of where I'm going to go here. But I want to play this video right here.
And I just want to say that was powerful, and it was very important you laid that out because, one of the most important things we talk about is people understand that the dollar is not money, and that Absolutely. It has been backed by gold, and understanding inflation and why you have to save gold and silver. But I think that what you just said is also just as important because most people are dealing with the dollar, and taxation is a reality. And just as important as knowing what the dollar is just as important to understand the tax code and the tax system that deals with your dollars. So that was great. That was great.
Absolutely. It's ironic that you say that. It's a shame that you're not going to learn it all in an hour, but I'm glad that Ricardo said that because when I lay this out, it's going to be like the Matrix. Okay, you're going to get a choice. You can take the red pill or the blue pill. Okay.
That's why you went with the runners.
Let's say it again.
I said that's why you went with the runners.
That's right.
That's good.
What Ricardo just said is that the tax code, the tax system, I'm gonna call it the tax system, is one of the things that were put in place, okay, to control you inside of this monetary system with the Federal Reserve note. Okay, there's a connection to the tax system. Okay, and after I play this video, we're gonna connect the dots. Okay, so you no longer have to be in fear. I love making these quotes from the Bible, and maybe I don't know if the Bible was specifically talking about it from a financial standpoint, but when you get this information today and you listen to these quotes, you're like, man, the blueprint has been already laid out. The Bible says that my people are destroyed from the lack of knowledge, okay? And let me tell you something, okay? We live in the United States of America, okay? And there's no boats leaving the United States of America. So I'm not bashing the government. I'm not bashing the IRS. I used to ask and bash the school system and ask, the school system should get a big fat F for not teaching tax education, okay? Until I discovered that the school system was never created to teach you financial education. Okay, so I can't go to Burger King and ask for a steak. Burger King don't do steaks. Well, the school system don't do financial education for a reason. Okay, that's a whole nother webinar. So I'm going to play this short video because when I saw that video, I understood exactly what the message was here. I want to see if you guys get this message as well. So I think I have to share my sound, right? Yeah. All right, so let me play this real quick and then we're going to dive right into the details.
Trying to argue that governmental action is not forceful, Senator Harry Reid claimed that income taxes are voluntary. If the government is in the business of forcefully taking money from some people in order to provide welfare benefits to others, how will the people whose money is being taken feel about the government?
Well, I don't accept your phraseology. I don't think we force people.
Taxation is not forceful?
Well, no.
It's voluntary?
In fact, quite to the contrary. Our system of government is a voluntary tax system.
Oh, if you don't want to pay your taxes, you don't have to?
Oh, of course, you have to pay your taxes. But
well, the government will force you to pay, or they'll fine you or imprison you.
We have a voluntary system. The fact of the matter is that if when you pay your taxes, see, in many other countries, it's not voluntary. For example, in many countries, the government makes sure that your employer takes out every penny. Many countries don't file income tax returns.
We have withholding here too, don't we?
Pardon me?
Withholding?
With some programs, yes. But I'm talking about in some countries, European countries as an example, there you don't file an income tax return. There is no need to because your employer takes all the money out. That's the difference between a voluntary and an involuntary system. You can't cheat and not pay your taxes. Right. But I don't accept your phraseology that you forcibly take money from somebody else and give it to that's the way it is on any program.
Can the taxpayer
highway program is the same. We take money, we forcibly take money in your phraseology.
But
put people in the army.
Can the taxpayer decide not to pay his taxes if he wants?
He can not pay his taxes.
What will happen?
He's subject to civil and criminal penalties.
They'll put him in jail. They use force against him. He pays. Everybody pays taxes under threat of jail or fine, under threat of force. In other words, you are forced to pay your taxes, whether you fill out your form voluntarily or whether it's withheld by your employer. You don't have a choice on whether you can pay taxes that are going to be used for welfare programs. You can't make that choice.
Well, but
you're muted, Mark. I think because you shared your audio for the video, we can't hear you.
I'm muted.
Okay.
Okay, right here. I want you guys to listen to what he's about to say. Don't miss this part. Right? If you missed all the rest of it, do not miss what he's about to say right here.
But the reason our system is called a voluntary tax system, and I recognize, that ultimately you can't cheat in your taxes, but we have many provisions in the law they don't have in most countries. We have deductibility for home, interest on mortgage payment. They don't have that in most countries. We have deductibility for certain excessive expenses as it relates to health, doctors, hospitals. We have all kinds of tax, some people call them loopholes, but others would call them incentives for people to do business. And that's
okay. I'm gonna pause right there. Is that Vote Inu? Is that Vote Inu as your avatar picture? The reason why I want to pause right there is usually when I do these live streams on paying less in taxes, some people immediately go to the straw man argument. I don't know if Marcus Garvey was a straw man, but let's say for sake of conversation and discussion, he was, right? That is a very well-spoken, right? when you bring up taxes, a very well-spoken topic of a straw man, but very few people are able to actually become that. Very few people. So I'm the type of person, I'm like TLC. I don't go chasing waterfalls. I don't go chasing the ideal concept of being a straw man, or, seeing the videos that to be a straw man, then you have to live like a pauper. You have to live in poverty. You may be harassed more by the government and policemen, people in those positions. I don't want that lifestyle. I don't. I want to be legally able to earn money under an EIN. And this is what the video is breaking down. He says many other countries does not give the tax benefits of doing business, being a business person. As Jay-Z said, I'm not a businessman. I am a business man. Many people don't grasp that. Many people that do the very narrow, right, road, that people that do become strongman, their health benefits are taken away. They cannot be gainfully employed under the Social Security number, SSN, that the government has issued, and they cannot operate as a business under the EIN because all of those are government-based benefits. So if you go to an emergency room, from my understanding as a strongman, they're not legally obligated to give you any medical service. So we don't look at, so my point of bringing this out, if you want to just do taxes, the most beneficial way, why not do it under the umbrella, the auspice of having a home-based business with 470 plus tax advantages? That's passive income I talked about earlier. That's like writing a check for 400 up to 470 legal ways back to yourself. And why would anybody do business under their Social Security number in the United States? That's the highest. If you look back here, Robert Kiyosaki, the cash flow quadrant. The E is for employee, the F is for sole proprietor, specialist, self-employed, small business owner, independent contractors, 1099 will fall into this category. You're taxed 30% as an employee from the top. That's not including your insurances that you may have, accident insurance, cancer insurance, life insurance, premiums, vision insurance, dental insurance. That's not even the 40% that you give out the IRS or 30% as an employee. That's not even including the extra 10 or 20% or higher of insurances. And then you have to add in your 401k or your pension deduction out of your paycheck. So your paycheck is on life support because you're expecting a little bit of money to go a long way, and that's not going to happen in inflation. So now you have the 1099 contractors. The more money you make, the more the IRS take. You're taxed at 50 to 60%. But if you shift over here, and this S right here does not stand for strawman, you can get taxed 0 as an investor percent and 20% as a business owner. So why not do business under a business entity? Why is the straw man? It's like chasing waterfalls or chasing a floating balloon, since we're talking about the China spy balloon. Why chase that? I don't get it. And most people never ever crack the code to ever enter into that. And then if they do, from what I see on social media, they have to live life like a pauper. I don't see any rich and wealthy people saying I'm a straw man. Now I looked up Black Moses Marcus Garvey. I haven't saw anywhere that said he was a straw man. You know, I'm gonna continue to research while the live stream is going, but let me go back to the live stream. I haven't seen anywhere to show he was a straw man.
Why you're not forced to pay certain tax. There are ways if you decide to buy a home.
You can decide not to pay taxes in the United States?
I mean, I really don't understand what you're trying to get at. What the point of the matter is?
Because you objected to my phraseology. You said.
Well, that's a setup, ain't it?
Well, so, you know, look, so when I saw this video, I don't know, 10, 11 years ago, okay, I understood what Senator Reid was saying, okay, and you got to be educated in order to understand what he just said. What he said was taxes are voluntary to the sense that, you know, those of you that have a job, you can go to your job and pull out your W-4 and you can check exempt. Now, of course, you have to qualify to check exempt, but you can check exempt and get 100% of your money, right, in your paycheck and not pay any federal taxes, right? So it's not like the government mandatorily, forces you to take one dime for you. In fact, we are the people that are responsible for the amount of taxes that leaves our paycheck. Okay, but again, because we don't know what we don't know, we fill out that W-4 form just to hurry up and get rid of it, to hand it over to the employer so we can get back to our cubicle, right? Not knowing that there's information on that W-4 form that will lead you into keeping as much, if not 100% of your money. Okay, so what Senator Reid said was, the tax code was set up to incentivize, forget about everything else. The tax code was set up to incentivize people to do business. I got to play that piece again.
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to hear this. Okay, then we're going to talk about the two sides of the tax code, the side that incentivizes you and the side that penalizes you. Okay, I want you to hear what he's going to say again, because if you don't hear, if someone don't teach you this information, it'll go over your head.
And this is what I thought about when I heard Trump say, I don't pay, pretty much says I don't pay tax because I'm smart.
That makes me smart.
That makes me smart. And
he
so
told the entire world.
So what it says is, and what Harry Reid is saying is, yeah, you don't have to pay taxes if you know how not to pay taxes.
Exactly.
You just need to learn how not to pay taxes. But if you don't know, then you're kind of not forced to pay taxes, whatever he's trying to ride this rail here. But it's for those who know. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. That's right. So it's voluntary if you understand the information and how the tax code operates, right? But the fact that they don't teach it at all, they don't teach one side or another. Ricardo, what class did you take in school that taught you about the tax code when it comes to this is how you tax, this is how they determine your tax, these are the tax deductions, these are the benefits of operating a business or being self-employed. Did you learn it?
Didn't happen.
They don't teach it, and they don't teach it for a reason. Okay, so Senator Reid in this video said that our tax code in the United States incentivizes those that create or start a business. Okay, so now let's dive into how that is.
You gonna finish it?
Yeah, I just wanted to go back and let him say that statement again, because I want the documentation to be the documentation.
It should hit different,
So let's see if we I think I'm back for it. I'm gonna go back just a little bit more on here. Hold on.
In the United
Yeah, that one expanded.
States?
I mean, I really don't understand what you're trying to get at. What the point of the matter is?
Because you objected to my phraseology. You say that the government isn't forcefully taking money from some people to provide welfare benefits to others. And in fact, that's what it's doing, because all taxation is forceful. It's backed up by physical force. If you don't pay your taxes, the government will intervene with you forcefully. So you don't have a choice. It's not voluntary. You can't decide not to pay and not suffer a consequence. If you don't pay, you'll go to jail.
Well,
So
you don't
you're
go-
forced to pay.
You don't go to jail. Some people go to jail. There are all kinds of civil penalties. If you don't pay your tax, you pay interest and you pay penalties. The fact of the matter is, our system is a voluntary system.
You have a choice on whether you can pay taxes that are going to be used for welfare programs. You can't make that choice.
Well, but the reason our system is called a voluntary tax system, and I recognize, that ultimately you can't cheat in your taxes, but we have many provisions in the law they don't have in most countries. We have deductibility for home, interest on mortgage payment. They don't have that in most countries. We have deductibility for certain excessive expenses as it relates to health, doctors, hospitals.
Now, I want to pause the video right there. You only get these through a home-based business. So why is it that we're having over-the-head conversations about straw man, but we're not having conversations about this and the power of having a home-based business? You only get those tax deductions through a home-based business. Why are we having high-level conversations that's producing zero results, and we can have every simple, basic conversation? Because it's very inexpensive to have a home-based business, to shift that money back to you. And sometimes I get why people refer to certain people as conspiracy theorists, because again, you're chasing the golden pot at the end of the rainbow. You're chasing something that you yourself don't know how to qualify for, and you don't know anyone personally in most cases. All of these are just conspiracies about people who are actually strawmans. And you don't have a blueprint to become that yourself. So why do we even have the straw man conversation? It makes good barbershop talk, or if you're going to the salon, sit under the shade tree, but that's about it. Most people never actually get it done. What they could do on a very simple but powerful and effective strategy, they don't execute. And this is what I don't understand.
We have all kinds of tax, some people call them loopholes, but others would call them incentives for people to do business. And that's why you're not forced to pay certain tax. There are ways, if you decide to buy a home.
You can decide not to pay taxes in the United States?
I mean, I really don't understand what you're trying to get at. What the point of the matter is.
Because you objected to my phraseology. You said.
That's funny. That was funny.
Yeah. The video is funny because Senator Reed is like, I get what you're trying to say, but what I'm trying to tell you, okay, is that it's voluntary, okay, to the point that they don't take it out of your paycheck and then make you prove that they shouldn't have took it from you, okay? But we know that it's actually involuntary because we don't know what we don't know. So exactly. You told me to fill out this form, you're taking my money, and now I'm starting to find out, 20, 30 years after working a career and losing thousands and tens of thousands of dollars in taxes, that all I had to do was do one thing: understand that there's two sides of the tax code, and today we're going to talk about that side that incentivizes you, as Senator Reed says, to start a business, okay? So we're gonna, I don't know where you want to go. I know a lot of our folks that are here, are inside of this amazing company, IX Global. And I want to keep this simple. I want to keep this really simple, okay? I'm gonna talk about, specifically the nodes and the tax benefits of those nodes, but I want everyone to understand, okay, that the tax code doesn't specifically target just one particular business or one particular item, okay? You got to understand, don't put yourself in a box when it comes to this information, right? So I'm going to talk about the nodes, but understand the nodes within itself is not the reason why we're going to be able to benefit from a income producing, I'm going to call it an expenditure, okay? I don't even want to call it an asset, okay? An expenditure and be able to deduct it 100% on our taxes. I'm going to give you the information directly from the IRS. Okay, so some of you don't have to be scared when you go to your CPA and your CPA says, you're going to go to jail. Don't listen to that guy. Okay, I've been in the industry for 30 years. Okay, because I'm telling you, I cannot tell you the countless of CPAs, okay, that refuses to get educated on the cryptocurrency space because they don't believe in it.
Yeah, and I think you that's the direction that I think I want you to go, because I think that most people, you're right, are here for the nodes and understanding the tax code system and how IX Global, or you can go in, because obviously you're going to go into not just the nodes, but it's business in general. This is a 1099
That's
business.
Right.
Right.
There we go. So I wanted to lay that foundation. We're going to talk about the nodes, okay? But the product could be toilet paper. I don't want you to miss this, okay? Yeah. We're going to talk about the nodes because it's very powerful. Okay. Let me tell you, when I first heard about IX Global, you guys were talking about the nodes, and I've heard about nodes, right? I've heard you and Mike talk about, the Gala nodes and that, right? But I never had a reason to really study the nodes, right? Because I didn't have one, right? And then when I learned about IX Global, the nodes, God wired me in a totally different way than most tax professionals. See, I didn't choose this industry. It chose me by way of that audit, right? Mm-hmm. I kind of stumbled upon the information, and then I got intrigued when I started to discover that there were people taking vacations, taking their family and friends on vacation and getting 100% tax deduction. I said, who does that? That there was people driving their vehicle and getting, 55 cents and 57 cents, and this year, 62.5 cents for every mile they drive, whether or not they make money or not. I said, who gets to do that? There were people that were renting apartments, okay, renting houses, that we were told that the only way that you got a tax benefit for your housing was if you bought a house. But there were people that were renting and getting a tax deduction on their rent, their life, their work. I said, who gets to do these things? These are the things that I would like to do and benefit from the tax code. However, I discovered it along my way of protecting what I thought was my freedom from that IRS audit, because I was in fear that the IRS was going to drag me to jail, okay, and take all my possessions, right, and lock me up forever, okay. Don't let people sell you the boogeyman story, okay. Everything I've learned from the IRS, okay? And most CPAs are not taught. I've talked to CPAs, and there's some CPAs on here, definitely chime in the chat box. Most CPAs will tell you the school system that they went to, okay, and I don't care if it was Harvard or Yale, it doesn't matter, okay? The school system is not designed to teach the masses financial education, because it was never created for you to get free from their system of financial bondage. I hope somebody wrote that one down, okay? So we're going to talk about the nodes, but I want to lay down some myth. I want to distill some myth really quick about the tax system, okay? Most people say, well, Mark, if no one paid their taxes, how could the government run, okay? How could the government run? Well, let me tell you a little story, okay? And I'm going to chime back into what Ricardo said about silver and gold, okay? Most people don't know, because they don't teach you again in the school system, that prior to a very, very important time in history, I call it the day that financial enslavement was placed on the American people forever. And that year is 1913. Two significant things happened in 1913. Number one is, for the first time in the United States of America, a federal tax was levied on its American citizens' income. America's been around longer than 1913. And so ask yourself this question: if there was no federal tax on Americans' income prior to 1913, how did the government operate this amazing country? They didn't need our money. So, Mark, why? Why did they in 1913 decide to levy a federal tax against the American citizens' income? Well, something else happened in 1913 that changed the entire financial system, not only for the United States, but for the entire world. And it's called the Federal Reserve System. So in December 1913, what our forefathers said we should never let happen in this country, and that is to allow a central bank to take over or take control of our monetary system. A small amount of Congress allowed that to happen, and it enslaved those that consider themselves to be the middle class today forever. It destroyed the currency. And after 1913, the final dagger was put into the United States of American citizens' financial freedom in 1935, when President Roosevelt forced the American people to turn over their real money, their gold. And he took the American people off the gold standard. And in 1971, President Nixon put the nail in the coffin for the entire world and the monetary system that now enslaves us through inflation, taxation, and debt. And so now let's talk about, okay, why the tax system is one system, but it has two sides, okay? And why most of us are operating or have been taught to operate on the wrong side, okay? And that second side we're talking about is you have two sides, guys, right here. And if you go to our site, you'll see it. Individuals, and then business and self-employed. Let me blow this up. Now, what you're looking at on the screen, and many of you can go, you can go and you can pull this up, okay? I want you to know that the IRS and the Internal Revenue Service are very interested in cryptocurrency. I mean, you can imagine that, right? Because they don't want the masses getting wealthy, okay? They know that the masses have found a way through this system to create a way of getting to prosperity for generations. And they don't want you, okay? They don't want you to get free from the plantation of taxation unless you just happen to stumble upon information like I'm going to share with you today. So this is the IRS frequently asked question of virtual currency. Now, if you haven't filed your taxes this year, there's been a change to the 1040. Okay, the 1040 is a tax form that every American fills out. Okay, and there's in fact, let me bring it up really quick before I jump into those. Before I jump into, oh, you know what? I could have just went. I could have just went here. Hold on. This is going to become very important for all of us that are involved in cryptocurrency, whether it's IX Global or not, okay? So I want to bring this up. Okay, so there's a change to this 1040 form this year, okay? This used to say right here where, can you guys see that? Make sure you can.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay, I'm on that one. Okay, this used to ask you, did you acquire, purchase, sell any cryptocurrency? Okay, they changed it to digital assets. Okay, they changed it to digital assets. Now it encompasses everything that you can possibly think of that you can convert into what they call real money, which is a fake money, fiat currency. Okay, so now when you read this, I want to read this because I want to show you the psychological trick, okay, that's being played on us. Because one, we're in fear. Two, we're ignorant to the tax law, tax code, right? So anytime you mix fear and ignorance, okay, that's a toxic combination, right? And so I'm going to read this, and then I'm going to jump back over to the IRS frequently asked questions, where they're going to answer this question. But I want you guys to think about this as I ask you this question. If you read this, how would you answer it? Okay, so let's go ahead and read it. At any time during 2022, did you, A, receive as a reward, award, or payment for property or services, or B, sell, exchange, gift, or otherwise dispose of a digital asset or a financial interest in a digital asset? Okay. How would you answer that question based on your situation? Would you know? Let's say that you purchased Bitcoin on crypto.com, and you got Bitcoin sitting in your wallet, and then your tax preparer said, hey, I have a question for you, and you read this. How would you answer that question? Would you know? So let's jump back over to the IRS frequently asked question, because when I discovered this, and I discovered it after I got into IX Global, because here's what my mind said. Okay, if I'm going to make this a business, and I ask myself this question every business I get involved in, how can I make this tax deductible? Is there a way for me to make this tax deductible? Okay, every gold and silver business I've ever been in, 100% of every piece of gold and silver that I was required to purchase, okay, was 100% tax deductible. I've had CPAs tell me you can't write off silver and gold. Absolutely not. And then I bring them to the IRS website and educate them, because you got to get out of your own way. Because I'm telling you, talk yourself out of the very thing to help you keep your money. So let's go through some of these frequently asked questions, okay? And we're going to answer that particular one. But again, I want you to remember, this is the IRS, okay? This is the IRS. So let's see what the IRS says about that question. Okay, first of all, they're going to go through and tell you what they consider virtual currency, right? You guys can go and pull this up. Just go pull up the frequently asked questions about digital assets, right? Now, let's go to this one right here, because remember I said there was a change in the wording or description this year versus the last couple of years when this was put on the 1040. So I'm going to go with this one right here, okay? So this was a question that was posed to the IRS, okay? It says the 2020, I got to bring it down a little bit. The 2021 form asked whether at any time during 2021 I received, sold, exchanged, or otherwise disposed of any financial interest in a virtual currency. During 2021, I purchased virtual currency with real currency and had no other virtual currency transactions during the year. How do I answer the question on Form 1040? Okay. Now, this is the IRS, so this is not Mark Pyer's answer. It's not Ricardo's answer. It's not Mike Thorpe's answer. This is IRS, okay? If your only transaction involving virtual currency during 2021 was purchases of virtual currency with real currency, you are not required to answer yes on Form 1040, okay? I can't tell you the countless of people, including myself, over the last couple of years have answered this question on this 1040 yes, simply because we acquired cryptocurrency, because of the information that is not being taught, okay? Here's the most important one. When I went through these frequently asked questions, number 10, because remember, I'm seeking, how can we, if possible, how can we, since I realized that a node is a piece of software. When I heard Ricardo and Mike say a node is software, I said, oh, hold on a minute, Jack. Oh, wait, that changes the whole game, okay? That changed the whole game. Wait a minute, you mean the node is not actually cryptocurrency? I'm not purchasing cryptocurrency? And when I discovered this information, here's what the IRS says, okay? Does virtual currency received by an independent contractor for performing services constitute self-employment? I'll read that one again. Does virtual currency received by an independent contractor, okay? If you're in network marketing, direct sales, you're considered an independent contractor, okay? For performing services constitute self-employment income? Well, let's get the answer to that question. The IRS says yes. Generally, self-employment income includes all gross income derived by an individual from any trade or business carried on by the individual other than an employee. Consequently, the fair market value of the virtual currency received for services performed as an independent contractor measured in US dollars as of the date receipt constitutes self-employment income and is subject to self-employment taxes. Let me tell you something. When I saw this and I read this, I said, "Thank you, Jesus, hallelujah." See, now the average person would say, "Oh my God, I got to report it on my taxes, more income. What am I going to do?" Okay. Here's what I want you to take away. Remember what I said. There's one tax code, there's two sides, okay? The side that penalizes you is the employee side because there's no tax write-off on the employee side, okay? And the ones that are there, you have to either qualify for and or they can phase out depending on how much income you earn. That's why we're not going to talk about that side, okay? We're going to talk about the business side, okay? So the fact that the IRS said that your rewards, let's go back to the 1040. I want to tie this in for you, okay? Let's go back to the 1040. It asked us a question. It said, did you receive, okay? Did you receive as a reward or award? Okay? I want you to tie this in, okay? If we have a node, we receive what? We receive a reward. We receive something that can be converted into what they call real money, which is fake money. This constitutes that you are earning self-employment income. Under the IRS code, self-employment defaults under the business code. Therefore, anything that you do to generate income as a self-employed person, which is someone that's just not earning money as a W-2, opens up Fortune 500 tax savings in the myth of you, in the process of you generating that income. So I want to tell you a story. I posted on my Facebook yesterday. It is totally mind-blowing, okay? So one of our partners in IX Global, okay? I'm not going to get too much details of his information, but I want to tell you his story, okay? Based on what I just shared with you right here. Okay. So hopefully, and Ricardo, if you want to chime in and if something isn't clear, let me know. But what I want you guys to take away from here, okay, is that one, your income that is generated from your rewards are considered self-employment income. Self-employment income defaults, you can't get around it, under a Schedule C, which is a business. And so anything that you use to generate that self-employment income puts you in a position to have a tax deduction for the cost of the node, the software that generates the income, okay? The cell phone that you use, okay, the internet that you pay for, okay, the space in your home that you sit on your computer and you monitor your mining these rewards, okay, and so on. So I want you guys to understand that. And let me tell you this story, okay? So this gentleman spent quite a bit of money purchasing nodes, okay? He earned about $50,000 last year, okay? So when I put his information in, he owed the government $6,000 in federal taxes based on his taxable income, okay, on the employee side, all right? He's generated over $12,000 in his rewards from this company, okay? And so, of course, that went in as income on his taxes, right? And when I plugged in the $12,000, his tax, he was already at a slight negative on the tax refund, right? When I plugged in the $12,000, my son was sitting there, and I plugged in the $12,000. All of a sudden, his IRS not refund but payment went See, most of you would have fell out of your seat. Most of you would have got scared and pulled your hair out. You've been like, oh my God, huh? You must have hit an extra zero, right? My son said, huh? And then I said, let me show you why they don't teach this to the masses. Now we get to go and take the advantages. What Senator Reid said, the incentive for doing business versus sitting in a cubicle. I'm not knocking jobs. I just want you to know, okay, that it's okay to earn money over on the employee side. But if you want to get financially free, if you want to truly be able to maximize keeping what you have traded your most valuable asset for, you got to change how and the way that you operate inside of this space, okay? So when I plugged in this gentleman's expenses, just the cost of his nodes, which are 100% tax deductible, that's not what I'm telling you. That's what the IRS says. The IRS says, okay, you write this down, a business expense is one that is ordinary and necessary in your trade or business. A business expense does not have to be ordinary to be considered necessary. And so inside of his space where he's generating income every day, sometimes every minute of the day, right? He's required to have that node in order to generate the income. And so therefore, it is not only necessary, it's ordinary, and it is mandatory in order for him to show that he has an intent to make a profit, which he's actually making income in his business. And so when I plug that in, here's what happened to his numbers. 100% of the federal and state income taxes on $50,000+ earned on the employee side went away. 100% of the taxes on the $12,000 that he reported with the rewards went away. He's able to write off a portion of his lights, water, gas, the interest on his house that he was not able to write off on the employee side. He's able to also write off traveling, his cell phone. He can take people out to lunch and dinner and simply show his phone at the rewards that he's earning and get a 50% to 100% tax deduction for going out and having fun and making money. And so he wiped out 100% of the penalty that was happening to him on the employee side by launching his business when an asset that's generating income doesn't require him to necessarily spend his time. And it opened up tens of thousands of dollars in tax savings. Here's the part that'll blow you away. He's carrying forward to this year, 2023. I want you to hear this. Don't miss this. This is why the wealthy don't pay taxes. He's carrying forward to this year $38,000 of the money he acquired his nodes with that he didn't need to reduce his taxes to zero. That $38,000 now is sitting there right now waiting to see how much income he's going to earn in 2023. He hasn't even earned income yet. He starts this year off with $38,000 in tax savings, and so he won't even see a dime of taxes until his first $38,000. In fact, his first $50,000 taken in his federal standard deduction. So his first $40,000 to $50,000 is non-taxable because of one decision he made last year.
Wow. So I'm going to stop right there. One of the chess moves that I made is chess, not checkers, getting into digital software and getting that passive crypto income coming in, cash flow, crypto commodities that's backed by commodity as a tax strategy. See, people, it's levels to this. And some people want to stay at elementary. That's fine if that's what you want to do. You can proudly say, hey, I'm better than an employee. But I made money in all four of these brackets. right? Just adding a home-based business alone within itself without income producing assets will not make you rich. It won't even keep you from living paycheck to paycheck. In most cases, right, it'll keep you from owing taxes. But if you're not living off of your investments, if you always trading time for money, that's either in a job or a network marketing opportunity. You're going to work and pay bills until you die. There's a better way where you don't always have to be leveraging and trading your time and being a part of the hustle, where you can get a system that's backed by real world commodities, where you're trading fake money for God's wealth, God's way, in a virtual digital world. As he said, the one decision that this man made to get the digital software, get the passive income, and the home-based business tax deductions. Now his first $40,000 that he earns passively is tax-free money for this year, right? So I'm gonna play these last two videos. I'm not gonna play the oh, this me. I'm not going to play the entirety of that. If you want the entirety of that video, then definitely text the number CC on the screen, 331-444-5556 if you want tax-free money passively, not residually. Residually causes work. It's people-based, like having real estate is residual income based off having a tenant. Having residual income in network marketing requires people volume, having how many people are in the business. This is profit based, right? This is based off profits generated, not people, right? So let's listen in. Robert Kiyosaki, my mentor.
I'm in the studio today with my real tax advisor, Tom Wheelwright. He's the author of Tax-Free Wealth. And I love having Tom because an advisor is a teacher. And most financial advisors are fake, especially accountants. So Tom is an accountant, and we're going to talk about taxes. And it's going to be personal today because Tom and I will have a discussion of how I plan to not pay any taxes in the next couple of years.
I make millions of dollars and pay zero taxes legally.
Yeah, well, you already have the money. It doesn't matter whether you deposit or not. It's still taxable. So you don't get to do that. And why would you cheat when you could legally reduce your taxes?
So taxes are basically the way the government sticks their hands in your pocket. And if you like that, more power to you. I really don't like somebody's hands in my pocket. Now, I know you communists out there are going to say, oh, that's not fair. So, well, you can pay all the taxes you want then, even Elizabeth Warren. But, President Trump and I don't pay much in taxes. And that's the game. But we do it legally. Most people don't plan on taxes until after they get the bill, or they let the government fleece them. Get a tax refund, which means you're stupid enough to let the government take your money in the first place out of your paycheck, which I would never do, but some people have to. Anyway, very important because your number one expense, rich or poor, still taxes. Well, I don't pay any taxes. Yeah, but you still pay sales tax, gasoline tax, real estate taxes, and all this. So taxes are basically the way the government sticks their hands in your pocket. And if you like that, more power to you. I really don't like somebody's hands in my pocket.
To get 0% tax, you need a team. You can't just do it by yourself. You have to have accountants, attorneys, and real estate guys. You have to have bankers on your side. So that's why having a team is important. Just recently, I made several $1 million last month, tax-free, legally. I say that because, and that's what you'll learn in jail. I say that because legally, because you don't have to be a crook to be don't pay tax. You have to be smart. The government wants you to pay no tax. Taxes are incentives. The reason I pay no taxes is because, like I said, I have 4 houses I live in, but 5,000 houses I rent out. By me providing housing, I pay 0 tax because that's what the government wants me to do.
So today, ladies and gentlemen, Tom's going to give you some ideas about if you're a W-2 or an employee, what you can do to minimize taxes. We do recommend doing it legally. As I always say, I don't want to go to jail and dance with my boyfriend in there. But there's so many things you can do to reduce taxes, but you got to do it ahead of time, right, Tom?
What you do, I mean, it's like retroactive planning, reverse planning doesn't work. You have to
go to jail for that one.
Planning means going forward. What happens is that people go, oh, I got too many taxes, so they do one of two things. They either spend money like her accountant told her to do, right? They go out and buy something they don't need, or it's even worse, they cheat. And I see that all the time. There's a lot of people that go, oh, my tax is too high, I'm going to cheat. I had somebody just the other day, an accountant was telling me that their client had said, well, we're just not going to deposit our checks till the next year. And I'm going, yeah, well, you already have the money. It doesn't matter whether you deposit it or not. It's still taxable. So you don't get to do that. And why would you cheat when you could legally reduce your taxes?
There's a part of me just loves to say I make millions of dollars and pay no taxes. It's kind of my, it's the middle finger gesture to the world. And every time I say that,
You know what? I want you to say that out loud right now or put that in the comment section. I make millions of dollars and pay no taxes. This is the mindset I want you to have. I make millions of dollars and pay no taxes. Say it 3 times. I make millions of dollars, millions with the S, millionaire moves in the back, and pay no taxes. I make millions of dollars and pay no taxes. I need that to be your mindset. Now, I want to be a strong man and live like a pauper. Now, I don't want to make 20,000 of AGI or 30,000 or 40,000, 50,000, right? Nothing against that. Those are Dave Ramsey baby steps, but we have to level up, people. It's 2023. Let's have a Jordan-like year. I make millions of dollars and pay no taxes. Now, if they know legally, like Robert Kiyosaki said, let's put legally on it. Legally, I make millions of dollars legally and pay no taxes. 3 times at least, right? Nikola Tesla said you want to know the key to unlock the universe, think in terms of 369. I make millions of dollars legally and pay no taxes. I make millions of dollars legally and pay no taxes. I earn money while I'm sleeping. I earn residual passive income and royalty income, preferably through cryptocurrency, because it gives you the highest return on your investment right now. I transfer government's cash, man's cash, into God's commodities. I get rich God's way. All right, that's our affirmation. Let's finish this, and I'm logging off for tonight.
and especially on air, whew, boy, does it get hot out there, because everybody kind of knows the rich make more money and don't pay taxes. So we have Elizabeth Warren running for president, or commissar, whatever she's running for, and Bernie Sanders and AOC. They want to tax the rich. Do the rich pay more taxes, Tom?
No, the rich will always find a way not to pay those more taxes.
Correct. And ultimately, who gets taxed? The middle class.
Ultimately, that's where the money ends up coming from.
So all these, I'm not Republican or Democrat, but when they say they're going to tax the rich, they're coming after your money, not my money, because as we talk about, there's 2 types of income. There's income from labor. As long as you're working for money,
right,
you will pay taxes. But if you're working from capital, you pay less taxes. So there's income from capital, which is investments and businesses,
right,
and there's labor. And whenever your school teacher says to you, go to school, get a job and work hard, fire that teacher. That you want somebody who is not a communist, but a capitalist, because you want to go to school make a lot of money and pay no taxes. That is the American way. Right, Tom?
Exactly. It's all about
It's the worldwide way,
the more assets you have, the less tax you pay.
Yeah, and it's worldwide.
It is worldwide. So every country we've ever been to together, Robert, it's the same.
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to say this and understand this. The more assets that I have, the less taxes I pay. Say that out loud. The more assets, you can put this in the comment section, whether you're watching this live on the replay, the more assets that I have, right? I think I have my, let's see which one I got on. Yep. 111 Millionaire Movement, All for One, One for All shirt. The more assets that I have, the less taxes I pay. It's really simple, people. The more assets that you have, the less taxes you pay. The more assets that you have, the less taxes you pay. Thank you, G-Man. I make millions of dollars. I love that S. I love that plural. And I pay no taxes. I teach and educate and mentor youth. I had this young lady come up to me one time and say, Coach DeLoach, that's what they call her. Coach DeLoach, I want to make millions of money. I said, well, how are you going to do that? She said, I'm going to make different kinds of cheese, all different flavors of cheese. And this, I said, okay, I love that idea. She said, millions of money. I never heard of it. That baby said, millions of money. I make millions of dollars and I pay no taxes legally. Millions of money. And then shortly after, the principal came in where we were sitting, and I asked the principal, I said, why don't schools teach entrepreneurship? This young lady has an entrepreneurship idea. Schools teach her nothing about her creative mindset, the right side of her brain. I won't even get into that because it's a late night live stream. So let's 2 more minutes of RK, Robert Kiyosaki, the GOAT, the greatest of all times when it comes to finances and financial strategies and making millions of dollars and pay no taxes legally.
So if I'm antagonizing you saying I'll make millions more money and pay less taxes, you just heard how we do it here. We sit with Tom. I sit with Tom. Kim sits with Tom. Kim's more accurate on the numbers. I like to just make the money. I like to make the money. Kim accounts for the money. And that's how you get rich.
That is, you know what? That's what we're teaching everybody at our Wealth Building Network is how to make more money and pay less tax.
So if you don't have an accountant or a bookkeeper like Tom, you're going to pay more taxes. So this is a matter of thinking, rather than just going to school, getting a job and saving money. Any tax breaks for that?
Well, the only one there is the 401k, and everybody knows how we feel about that one. So there's no way to do it without giving your money into the control of the government. I mean, that's really what those plans are. They're a way for the government to control your money and to control your investing. But if you want to have control over your money, then you really have to look at being a business owner or a professional investor.
Right. Another thing, we're talking to Kara, who's she's from Haiti. She's an attorney. She's a PI, a personal injury. And she makes a lot of money. But you also gave her some other ideas other than just, you talked about her children and all that. How does it work for a self-employed person?
Well, so for example, one of the things the government wants us to do is teach our children how to work and get them productive into society. And so the government gives tax benefits for employing children in your business. And one of the big tax benefits in the US right now is that we have a $12,000 personal deduction. That means that the first $12,000 of income that you earn is not taxed. Well, that's true for your child just as it's true for you. So if you pay your child,
can I rent a kid?
You can pay any children you want. You're welcome to pay my children, Robert. Absolutely. Here's the thing, though. If you pay somebody else's child, now they're in control of that money. You're not still in control of it. So you pay your own child, pretty much you're going to be in control of that money. Even though you paid the child, you get a deduction. They don't pay tax.
How about age of the child?
Doesn't matter. As long as they can actually do the work. They really do have to work for you. You can't just pretend. We always say if you want to get a pretend deduction, that's fine. But It's pretend.
You go to jail for that stuff.
Exactly.
So I'm logging on. People visit my website, milliemoves.com. A lot of people don't implement this strategy. You have children. You can hire your children to work in your home-based business, right? That's the only business entity that you can legally hire your children in, that fits under the umbrella of the child labor laws. This is why I highly recommend a home-based business, because if you're a mechanic, if you're a barber, if you're a beautician, right? Your child may or may not fit the legal qualifications or are able to actually do the work of performance. They live in the home with you, hopefully, but even if they don't, if you're part-time or partial time and you're sharing joint custody, especially for the men that have to pay child support, men mostly are the ones that are paying child support. Very, few cases are, but there are some cases, small cases where there are women that are on child support as well. This is a great way to kind of balance off what you're paying in child support and getting that great strategy of getting that money back by now hiring your child, right? Either they're with you part-time or partial time to work with you wherever you reside. Even though it's called a home-based business, it fits for a townhouse, a condo, apartment, rent, anything. It doesn't have to be a house. Just a resident. It should be called a resident-based business. So if you want help to see if you're overpaying your taxes out of your paycheck, it starts there. The minimum person that I help found $600 every paycheck out of their taxes. The maximum amount ever that these experts found, you can visit the website again, milliemoves.com, was $1,400 for married couples, right? And then we find your money. We create instant cash flow. It takes about 24 hours to do what's called a paycheck analysis, right? Do that instant cash flow, structure you if you have children, or and then give you a phone app to accurately track these expenses and educate you on it. And then you take that positive cash flow, and then we create residual income opportunities for you, then graduate you to passive income and crypto cash flow. That's the 3-point process. Make more money, pay less taxes legally, and get your credit fixed, people. Don't pay a high interest rate because you have a low credit score. Do not pay out high interest rates because you have a low credit score. All of that, milliemoves.com. Love you all. Financial Freedom Friday. Queen out.